Welcome, Aquarius, to your reading for the second half of October. As always, we're doing the 12 house spread. And in the first house, we have the lovers. This is setting the tone for your reading, Aquarius. How exciting! The lovers card is partnership. It's also connection to the higher self, the higher mind. And in your first house of self-identity and your essence, this is a really promising start. So wherever you are in romance or friendship or connection in general, it's a good omen. What's the clarifier saying, Fran?
This one literally jumped out at me, the Two of Wands. So this is expansion. So I get the sense that your sense of self, your identity is expanding. This is a period of growth and adventure and what else is out there. So really exciting. And with your card, M, that you drew, I hope that some of you are kind of falling in love with yourselves a little bit, not in an egotistical or narcissistic way, but just in a really like got your own back kind of way.
Yeah,
Nice one,
love that. So nice.
Aquarius.
All right. And then in the second house, we have the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is in the house of value, resources. What are you valuing at this time, Aquarius? And it's got the figure, he's got his head down, focusing really hard. It's asking you to don't forget everything you've worked on so hard to this point. So it may feel like you're just focusing on and zeroing in on this one thing, and you're like, God, why isn't it working? But don't forget that there has been a lot of things that have worked before. So how does the clarifier speak to that, Fran?
And that's also an indicator that the fruits of your labor, you're very close to those fruits coming through for you, seeing the results of your hard work. The clarifier, is the strength card. So in the second house of what you're resourced with, your strengths, your gifts, your talents, your abilities that bring about your abundance and your wealth, what you're resourced with to create your abundance is your inner strength, is your capacity for self-mastery, to not buy into negative self-talk or self-doubt, to really, I guess, rise above it. And as a result, it allows great abundance to come through for you. Really exciting, Aquarius.
I just got struck by this insight as you were talking, Fran, and I don't know what you said exactly, but I then remembered something, and I saw that in the Eight of Pentacles, all those like pentacles on the tree or the wall, and then the Lover's card of that like entity or that angel hanging over. I feel like there's energy from ancestry coming through. Like, don't forget that there are all these people that have come before you, and you're channeling their energy through what you're doing. So there's something really significant about that, Aquarius.
I like that. Yeah, draw on the strength of your ancestors.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. And then in the third house, we have the moon card. This is the card for Pisces. But in the third house of communication and ideas, there's something deeply intuitive with that too, Aquarius. So either you're communicating at this time from that inner depth, or you're about to be communicating in such a way that's going to bring a lot of satisfaction, a lot of healing, a lot of connection to your relationships and to your outer world and inner world.
So, clarifier, we have the Three of Swords in your house of communication, ideas, imagination. So, I get the sense that maybe you've communicated something, you've been hurt by communication, and maybe you're also hurt by what you're communicating to yourself. Given the very strong positive cards preceding, I get the sense that this is something you're very much healing from, and it's strengthening your communication because you can draw from all of the healing that you've done, and it's informing your communication, and that's getting noticed. So really positive for you.
I love that. So exciting. All right. And then in the fourth house, you have the Three of Cups. And this card is celebratory. It's interesting that it's three people celebrating because it's in the house of all things familiar, home, comfort. It could be family of origin or chosen family. But this is a really positive time. And it's a time to reach out to your friends or your community to celebrate whatever it is that you love about your connection. What's the clarifier saying there, friend?
Lovely. Oh, interesting. You've got the devil in your fourth house of family, all things familiar, and how you feel at home in the world, and of course, your chosen family. So the devil's about transformation. It's working with shadow energy as well. So is there a little bit of shadow stuff showing up at home? Um, or your chosen family, or is a bit of shadow stuff preventing you from feeling at home in the world? So there's a rich opportunity to explore your shadow side, your shadow self, without making it wrong, without judging it. Um, I also get the sense that some liberation coming through for you on the home front.
Cool. And then in the fifth house, we have the Death card. Oh, here we go in the vein of the devil in the fifth house of creative expression and connecting to that inner self. And I wonder if that's connection to shadow self too, Aquarius, because the Death card is about rebirth, transformation through ending. And it could just be something's happening for you in your creative world that you're like, oh God, I can't wait for this to be over. And this is the sign to say that it is going to be over. It's okay. And you'll feel so refreshed once that's done, whether or not you need to say something or take action or take a step towards the change that's going to be coming up for you. So, what's the clarifier saying with that, Fran?
I get the sense that there's going to be great death and rebirth for you, Aquarius, in creative expression. So I kind of feel like you've got the opportunity to have a rebirth through some area of creativity. And your clarifier is, interesting. You have the Nine of Swords. So this is a card of deep healing, resting, recovering, healing. So I think through creative expression, there's going to be some healing coming through for you. So go for it with the creativity, and healing is really hot on the heels of whatever you do, whatever you creatively express, healing will follow.
And in the sixth house, Aquarius, we have a six as well, Six of Cups. Um, it's such a positive card, this one, because it's talking about really nostalgic moments in the past. It's also bringing in a soul connection, someone that's really important to you. And if there's someone coming through from the past that's not really helpful or healthy, then you know you need to take the necessary steps to keep those boundaries in place for yourself. But otherwise, just a really lovely card. And in the sixth house of making decisions, of discernment and work, that could be aiding you, whatever's coming through from your memories. Um, yeah, I just get a really good sense from it. So, what's the clarifier saying there, Fran?
I just got a little flash of inspiration, and I wonder, Aquarius, if there might be a little soulmate showing up in the workplace for you, landing in your sixth
Mm.
house. And our clarifier is the Hermit. So this is your hard one, your wisdom, your depth. And what's being asked of you is to share your wisdom in the workplace. Don't hide it. You've got something to say. I kind of feel too, if you've had a bit of a hermity time, if you have been hiding away a little bit, it might be time to be a little bit more bolshy. That's what the Libra eclipse is asking of us to, take a risk, say what we need to say, be bold. So yeah, I think shine that light in the workplace, Aquarius. It's really going to benefit you. I think you're going to get some real recognition and some kudos from sharing that wisdom in
Mm.
the workplace.
Yeah, you have so much to offer, Aquarius. And then in the seventh house, you have Page of Pentacles. So, in the seventh house of relationships, connection, relationship to self, this could represent good news coming through and maybe to do with work because it's Pentacles. But I feel like this is connected to that person that's coming through for you from the sixth house at work. Either way, it's a positive omen. It's also asking you to pay attention to little signs in the universe and your environment around you that feels good to notice that may be connected to something great coming along. And it's also in the card, there's that open field ready to be planted, that seed that the page is holding in the air. How do you ground it and make it a reality? What's the clarifier saying with that?
Wow, lovely. You've got the Knight of Cups. So this is a
Ooh.
beautiful card for bringing something through in a relationship. So the Knight of Cups is your knight in shining armor, the horses in the tarot, the white horses. He kind of looks a bit more off-white or grey to me, but I think he is meant to be
Mm.
white. They represent support. So a lovely supportive energy is coming through, a knight in shining armor in your house of relationships. So if you're single and that's what you're looking for, if you're not looking for love, this could just mean this is how you're showing up for yourself. You're being your own knight in shining armor and you're supporting yourself.
Great. In the eighth house, Aquarius, we have the Hanged Man. And this is transformation, the house of transformation and change and shared resources. Is there something happening at the moment where you're feeling like you need to take a time out and reflect, or are you feeling like something is beyond your control in a good way that you're like, oh, finally I can rest in this? Maybe there's an insight coming through that will contribute to that transformation. I'm getting the sense that it could be related to the relationships that were emerging in the sixth and seventh house. So, do you need to kind of take a pause and think about what's happening in your relationships? Who knows? What's the clarifier saying?
I get the sense, that some of you need to pause, and for others, you have paused and reflected enough, and it's a time for action. So just take that how it resonates. And our clarifier, is the beautiful King of Cups. So
Oh,
this guy has mastered his emotions, landing in your eighth house of transformation. This suggests very strongly that you've done a lot of work in transforming your emotions and you have succeeded. And now you're quite at home with your emotions. However, they show up, you're not perturbed. He's very calm, he's very equanimous. So, yeah, good work, Aquarius.
great. Then in the ninth house of higher thinking and expansion, you've got the Page of Swords. In the house of Sagittarius, this is very, very Sagittarian. But the Page of Swords is curious about what else is there to come. How else can I lean into my creativity, my thinking, my problem solving, my ideas and communication to experience more of what the world has to offer, what the universe is offering me. The Page of Swords is also about enthusiasm, it's newness, it's not jaded and bitter, it's very fresh. So, what's the clarifier saying comes through with that, Fran?
Lovely. Oh, okay. Interesting. In your ninth house of expansion, higher mind, higher learning, travel, teaching, you have the very determined Seven of Wands. So this guy's putting down a very firm boundary. It's kind of persistence, determination, perseverance. So I get the feeling that your transformation has been hard won. You've had to put down boundaries in order to maybe give yourself the time and energy and privacy that you need to transform. I also get from what you were saying about the previous card, and that beautiful enthusiasm and curiosity is what's going to lead to expansion for you,
Hmm.
Aquarius.
Yeah, great point. And then in the 10th house of public image and status, you've got the Knight of Cups. Wonder, Aquarius, if you are a knight in shining armor for people around you, for your environment and your connections. And there's this concept of knight in shining armor. Is it too good to be true? Well, if that's the case, it's something about how do you check the reality of that? It's maybe you're experienced in knowing you can't just trust things on surface value, but sometimes it's good to just go with what's at face value. And then if you're presented with an issue, you can trust yourself to navigate that. So I feel like this card is about trust somehow. And also maybe someone is coming in for you that is offering some really good news or a promise of love or a connection, something like that. How can you actually make the most of that opportunity? What's the clarifier saying, Fran?
I'd say somebody's definitely coming in because this is a repeating card. Our knight in shining armor showed up in the seventh house of relationship, and now he's showing up in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in your, hang on, what house?
Fantastic.
7, 8, 10th house. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So showing up in your 10th house of career and your contribution to the world. So you might meet your knight in shining armor in the workplace, in your career. Or again, if you're not looking for love, it could just be you showing up for yourself in this way, or it could be other people in your career looking at you, seeing you as the knight in shining armor, what you bring forth, your bold ideas, your courage, your confidence, you're willing to take risks. So really exciting, really let it shine in the workplace. It's looking good for you, Aquarius.
Nice. Then in the 11th house of hopes and wishes, you've got the Four of Pentacles. And this card is about stability, foundations. You've spent a lot of time building this foundation for yourself, but the hopes and wishes placement is about maybe you're seeking more stability. Often this card, the duality to that card is asking you, where can you actually expand, get flexible, do some stretching, so you're not just kind of like stuck in the same position. Um, you getting the giggles, friend?
Yeah, don't worry about me.
Okay. Um, and then in what this could also represent is yeah, where do you need to take a risk, a well-calculated risk? What's the clarifier saying, Fran, about that?
Yeah, so I'll clarify. Oh, wow, you've got the moon showing up in your 11th house of hopes and wishes. So, this is a card of deep intuition and the call for you to trust your intuition deeply. I get the sense that this is about things kind of being hidden. We can't see very clearly in the moonlight, so we kind of need to feel our way, hence the strong reference to intuition. I wonder if there's a wish that's so deeply hidden that you haven't kind of even dared admit it to yourself. Admit it to yourself, that sort of buried wish, just bring it out into the moonlight. And I would say do some intuitive work around it. What does it mean for me? Do some association, do some
Mm.
yeah, some pre-association around it. So when did I first want this? What does it mean for me? What would it look like? What would it sound like? What's my fear around it? So the moon can also represent fears, but fears aren't necessarily negative. They just can show us how much we want something and what's at stake. So I think go for the big secret wish.
Hmm. Oh, it's something really funny has come up for me, Fran, when you were talking, which is connected to my grandma actually. Before when she was starting to go into dementia, a little bit of dementia, she would create like she would eat sandwiches that were half tuna, half Nutella. And she just found them
Ooh.
delicious. And I'm just like, is that a hidden wish for me? Do I really want to know what that tuna Nutella sandwich tastes? It's so sweet. I don't know why that came.
I
Maybe
love
Aquarius, you
that.
want to know what that tastes like, and you're just worried about being judged. That's for me, definitely. All right.
I love that. I love that.
In the 12th house, we have the Five of Cups. So 12th house is about all things hidden. It's about spiritual work, sense of purpose and meaning in life. And in order to get to that place, this placement is saying you need to practice your grieving skills. Maybe it's not so much a wallowing or a rumination, nothing like that. It's more about how do you honor deep, difficult feelings that can then give rise to a lot of freshness and new ideas and appreciation for all things beautiful and kind. What's the clarifier saying there, Fran?
I like that, Em. And just real quick, the grief card showing up in your 12th house of all things hidden suggests that there might be a little corner of grief there that you're like, oh, I can't quite face that.
Mm.
But the card is suggesting that you're ready, you can embrace it, and it'll be beautiful. It'll be a lovely release. Oh, wonderful. So in your 12th house of deep spiritual work, you have the Three of Pentacles. So this suggests that your deep spiritual work, whatever that means for you, will pay off, will manifest in the world really positively. It'll get you positive recognition, acknowledgement, abundance, attention. So deep spiritual work doesn't need to be anything woo-woo. It can be if that's your thing, meditation, not that that's particularly woo-woo, but it might just be sharing deeply with friends or reading something inspirational or being in nature. But whatever spirituality means for you, it's going to serve you well. And there's a lot of recognition coming in for you around your quality work, Aquarius.
Mm. Yeah, overall a really positive reading, Aquarius, as always. I love that I just saw in the first house the lovers card was coming through, so we did explore some of that potential romance and connection at the workplace. And also the moon coming up twice. We've got some insight building and reflection in the seventh house and eighth house. So amazing work, Aquarius. Thanks for reading with us, and we'll see you in the next fortnight.